literally 3 days have passed, Matt. 3 days have passed since we were unfortunately beaten 2-1 at home from Manchester United in the Premier League. Thanks to that man we know and, you know, a lot of fans love, Jesse Lingard. Welcome back to the West Ham Network. I mean, I'm still deflated. I'm trying my best not to be deflated. But I am. But it's time to move on. And it's time to move into the third competition, domestic competition we are in this season. Welcome back to the West Ham Network. I'm Anton, joined by Matt. Matt, Carabao Cup, Manchester United. How you feeling, mate?
You know what? I'm not really bothered.
Oh, come on.
You know what? I'll be honest. We haven't got the squad to compete on four fronts. We just don't. So, you know what? Before the draw came out, I was like, you know what? We could, if we get a good draw at the start, we could have a go in this.
Yeah.
And then we drew Man United out first, and I was like, well, we got Europe anyway. I'm just not bothered, and especially after being deflated from the game on Sunday, I'm like, Jerry, can we just get rid of this game and focus back on the league in Europe again?
Before we bring our guest on, you do get the vibe, though. I do agree with you, to be honest, but I do think that Moyes is going to use this game as more tactical decisions and being quite clever about team selections and actually maybe mixing up the teams a little bit just to see what else he's got out there. So the one thing that might offer a bit of competitiveness in the West Ham element is the fact that there's going to be players that are going to want to play their way into the first team as much as they can and play as much as they can. So that will be interesting in terms of team selection. But yeah, we'll see what happens. But let's bring our guest in. Why not? It's always that time of the day. Actually, before we do, let's quickly say hi to everyone. Clive, good to see you. Hope you're well. James Bong, evening. Thank you very much. Gaza, nice to see you. You're all talking to each other. Pete Chapman, hope you're well, mate. P. Gads, good afternoon. All from the Great Lakes State. Brilliant to see you, mate. Neil T, hope you're well. Andy Pepper, good evening all. Hope you're all well tonight. Thank you for joining us again. Father Snowman, evening. Neil from Down Under, good to see you, mate. It's at 5:32 on a Wednesday morning. I love that. Toby Spanner, Chief Spanner, we can call you. Chief Spanner's in the house. Neil T, oh, you're all talking to each other. Love it. Rhonda and Tony Tanti, morning all. Yep, that's amazing. Liam Day, Jesse Lingard's almost guaranteed to start tomorrow. We'll talk about that literally in a minute. Who's going to the game tomorrow? I was going to look into going to the game tomorrow, but I'm actually in the process of trying to find a Leeds ticket, so I think I'm going to give this one a miss. Dad, good to see you. Natalie, your biggest fan, is in the house. I know you're in the background. You can see that. That does you there. Peeps. I'm not even going to bring up Still's silly comment. Rhonda, hi Neil, watching the Leeds game at the moment. Good evening from Split HR. Hi Jim and Still. Oh God, good evening friends. Pat Mahone. Toby Sampson, here he is, the backseat presenter. Exactly, mate. You just got to ignore him. Got to ignore him. Anil, was Winston Gold and Sullivan's first signing? Well, I'm going to be doing a show on Winston Reid tomorrow, so keep your eye on the channel. Kent, it was time for Winston to go. All the best to you and thanks for your service, but no testimonial from me. Kent, I'm surprised at you, mate. Surprised at you, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Actually, hold on a second. How do we do this? We'll just put you in a timeout. That's what we'll do. We'll put Stella in a timeout. So anyway, while we're kicking about here, let's bring in the opposition. Let's talk about Manchester United. Welcome back to the channel, Natalie. I know you were only on literally 4 days ago, I think it was, with Stella and Matt. It's good to see you.
Yeah, it's good to see Matt again. Good to see you, Anton. Obviously, send love to your father. I always speak to him. I'm out again, unfortunately. You know, we've got to make the most of it with all these lockdowns that are potentially coming. So I've got to come out, enjoy town.
Listen,
yeah,
I can see something in your face, Natalie, and that's what I call a smug smile.
Yeah.
Come on, listen.
I said, right, we'd win. We did win. And the thing is, it's like poetic justice. I tweeted it on my tweet, and I know you boys, and I know we talked about it, but definitely that Soufal one on Ronaldo just before your penalty, poetic justice. That was a clear penalty. I mean, I still think that the Zuma one, he was unlucky to get. So that's 2 penalties. Yeah. Yes, Luke Shaw, it was a blatant penalty. But poetic justice. David De Gea, look how many penalties he let in and we lost. And then the first penalty in the Premier League, he steps up. Mark Noble never miss. You know, bang. David De Gea saves.
Natalie, do you think it was unfair justice considering that your main talisman Ronaldo is a big diver?
Listen. You know, I know. Like I said, the Zuma one, fair, you can look at this and that. But that Soufal one, that was the most blatant penalty I've ever seen. Yeah. And I don't understand why he didn't at least go to the monitor. I mean, God, if he had gone to the monitor and said no, still, I don't understand what he was looking at.
Yeah.
Premier League have come out and said that he had those 2 penalties. You know, there's not much more that he could do. I'm confident for this game. I think, well, you guys were talking about rotation and your squad depth. I think our squad depth is enough to win. But, you know, if you guys proper went out for it and played the same team, you guys will probably win. Because I can definitely see us rotating. So I don't know, but
I think, listen. I mean, there's fans in the chat here. Some of them are going, typical Man United fan. Listen, guys, everyone who doesn't know, Natalie's been on the channel several times. We do have a good bit of banter. It's all genuine little bit of banter here, there, and everywhere. I've dug her out because of Ronaldo's diving antics, and she's dug me out because Soufal cleanly tackled Ronaldo and he didn't get a penalty, which he didn't deserve. I'm on the wind up, Natalie. I'm on the wind up.
But listen, like I said, I've sat there and they can say Man United this and that, but I've sat there and said, okay, the Zuma one, I'll admit, maybe he did go to ground too easy on that one. But the other one, I was shocked. I was shocked, amazed. I couldn't believe it. And then, like you said, you guys went up. That Luke Shaw one, blatant penalty. Blatant. And he went to check the monitor and he gave it. So you can say typical Man United, but I'm sitting here saying Zuma one, fair enough, it wasn't, but the other one was. And, you know, I mean, it's no guarantee that he would have scored.
I think what we get from that game, though, Matt, and I think you can have agreed with that, and this isn't a review of that game. Obviously, we're going to do a preview of the Carabao Cup because it's obviously going to be a whole new, different ball game on tomorrow evening. However, Matt, I mean, I think every West Ham fan left deflated, to be honest, because the game was, as a neutral looking in, was a very good game of football, and West Ham and Man United went toe-to-toe with each other. And what was good for West Ham to see, West Ham fans, was that we took the game to Man United, but equally, you know, we had Man United backs up against the wall, and Man United had West Ham's back up against the wall, and it was just a good, entertaining football match. That's why we left absolutely gutted, because, you know, we were sitting at the start of the season unbeaten. There wasn't many teams in Britain at that point sitting unbeaten through all competitions, but yeah, I know it's early doors, etc. Matt, Carabao Cup though, how are you feeling about it?
Well, I said to you a minute ago, I'm really not bothered. You know what? It's maybe if we get past this round, I'll change my opinion. Maybe I think, we should go for it because we need to win a cup. We haven't won a cup in years, so any cup's a cup. But in terms of priorities, I just don't think Moyes is going to have this as a very high. You know, we've got 4 competitions. We can't compete on 4 fronts, so this will probably be the bottom of the 4. I fully expect Moyes to go out and make a lot of changes tomorrow. Probably see like 6 or 7. And if we get through, great. I mean, Man United have got a lot more strength and depth than we have. They've got a very big, talented squad. But it's just, you know what, especially after the way the game finished on Sunday, just sucked everything out. It's just, I'm struggling to get motivated to be bothered about it.
Yeah, I get that. I get that vibe. Natalie, I want to talk to you about the one player that's on the tip of West Ham's tongues because of obviously the connection he had with the club last season. Of course, we were linked to bringing him in. I seen a bit of the preview you were talking about. You were saying you were absolutely shocked. One thing I can add to the game on Saturday is that Jesse Lingard, out with his goal, changed Man United for the better. Absolutely. He drove you as a team further forward, which is something I'd already said so many times when he came to West Ham, that, you know, when he's on form and rewinding back to when Jesse Lingard was on form for Manchester United, he was unplayable. Now, I just want to know from your mindset, is he working his way back into the fan base if he can perform at that level consistently, or is it something that you're looking at going, it's not where we're still at, and also will he start for the game tomorrow in the League Cup?
100% he'll start. I think Ollie even confirmed after the game he's going to start. Do I think Jesse is like that first choice Premier League player? Probably not. Is he a good player that when you need to change the game, like at West Ham, when you need a bit of magic, when you're playing in a game like West Ham in the Carling Cup or whoever else in the FA Cup, that's why he got brought on versus Young Boys. I'm sure maybe he might get brought on versus Villarreal. These kind of games. I expect Lingard to play, yeah. And to be fair, it's Lingard season. It's Lingard doing the best that he can do. That's the best Lingard that I want to see. I remember, sorry, that's a bus. Jesse played versus Everton, and I remember, like you said, under Mourinho, at times he's unplayable, but I do still think we've got players that are a lot better than Jesse. And I mean, I don't know. I don't want to slag him off because he scored us the winning goal and it was great and it's fabulous. And that's the Lingard that I want to see. But, he's against Bruno. He's against Ronaldo. I know that Sancho's not really played, but maybe that's where he can force himself in versus Sancho. But that's what you want to see. You want to see 2 players for every position, 2 world-class players, 2 players that are on form fighting each other. And, Lingard is playing today. Tomorrow versus West Ham. If he gets another goal, has a influential match, who knows? Versus Villa on Saturday, he could play. But do I see him playing over Bruno? No chance. Do I see him playing over Sancho? Maybe.
A couple of other players I want to talk to you about, because Matt did mention their squad depth with Man United. I mean, it's no comparison. There's a lot more squad depth in the Man United team in comparison to the West Ham squad. But you've got players sitting there which are rumoured to be potentially featuring tomorrow. Cavani, I mean, we're not talking about unknown, under the radar players, and Antonio Martial. I mean, are we going to see these guys featuring tomorrow? What do you think?
Cavani, definitely. Cavani hasn't played, so I feel like this is the perfect time to bring him back in. Martial, yeah, definitely. Probably Martial on the left, Jesse on the right, Cavani down the middle, something like that. Donny. But I still think he will still play like I don't know. I don't know if he'll definitely play Bruno, but he might play someone like that. Bruno, just to sort of keep it, because I heard what Matt says. Like, this isn't important for you, and yeah, it's 4th in our priority list. But I think we need to win a trophy, and I've said it on All for United, the Man United, channel, just about this game. We need to win now. Ollie didn't win anything last year. We're in the final. I think it's Ollie needs to win something. I think if we're serious about winning the Premier League, you've seen City, they win this Carabao Cup. They go out and it gives you that boost to go on and win the Premier League. So for me, if we win the Carabao Cup, I'd be happy, because I'd be thinking, right, we've got that confidence. A lot of players have played. He's played a lot of, maybe you saw them fringe squad players. So if we go out and win it, I'd be delighted, because I think he needs that on his CV, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And like I said, I think it will be a boost for the other trophies, later in the line. So for me, and I get where you're coming from. It's not maybe as important for you. It's not as important for us, but he needs it, Ollie, now.
I'll put that back onto Matt, though. Matt, we're crying out to win a cup competition. We've not won one in over 40 years, and I know it's up against Man United. I know we've got 2 different squads. However, I think a lot of people are thinking there's going to be a lot of under 23s thrown into the game tomorrow. I don't think there is. I really don't think there is. I think there's going to be a squad used there. And I think Moyes is going to use it as an opportunity. We'll talk about West Ham in a minute. But when it does come to Manchester United, when you think of players like Cavani and Martial, I mean, if that's coming up against our potential mix and match squad, is that something you do fear, Matt?
I'd fear them anyway, even if it was the first team squad. Cavani has proven his class over the years, different teams, different leagues. Martial is one of them players that loves playing against West Ham. He always seems to do something against us. But like I said, if we go beyond our 20-man squadish that we've got, then we're going to be, we start, like you said, we were looking at like academy players. Man United have got like a full 25-man squad where at any point someone could just step in. Like we said, Van der Beek, Matic might start again. You've got McTominay and Fred. One of them might start. It's by Love. I was going to say not Lovren. Can't remember the other centre back. Can't remember his name now. It's gone completely out of my head.
The new signing.
No, the
Lindelof.
Swede. Lindelof. Like they could literally swap their back to him. You know, I know for instance like Henderson's I think still injured, but then there's another number one goalkeeper. That they could easily,
Tom Heaton as well. And I still think he will play Maguire. I still think he'll play Maguire, but then maybe play a like you say, a Lindelof or a Bailly next to him. But I think United, they still sort of need to go a bit strength. And I think if West Ham went full strength, you would potentially be us. Because like you say, Cavani and all this, they're great players, but remember, they didn't add any minutes. Whereas if you play a strongish team, you might go out and win. And, like you said, you've not won a trophy for 40 years. We've not won it for about 10 years. And I'm thinking, come on, this isn't good enough.
Yeah, absolutely. When it comes to the game tomorrow, though, do you genuinely think Ole will take this competition serious, Natalie? And if he does, what 11 can you see put out there, and what 11? Not the 11 you want, but what do you genuinely believe he will put out tomorrow?
So I think someone like Heaton or Henderson. I think he still might play Shaw, but then I did hear him talk about Tellez, so that's someone who can come in. I think, like I said, Maguire and Bailly maybe. I think the lot will play. I think Donny van der Beek. Maybe still might play Bruno, and then like Jesse or even Mata, and then like I said, like we said up top, Cavani, Martial, and maybe Sancho. I'd like to see Sancho given that time because he was pulled out versus, not through his fault, but he was pulled out because obviously young boys, we had the red card, didn't start versus West Ham. So I think maybe start Sancho and have Jesse a bit further back in midfield, and maybe see that link up that they can do. Jesse on the right, Sancho on the right, Martial on the left, Cavani through the middle.
Plenty of choices there, Natalie, to choose from. Listen, we're going to keep the Carabao Cup preview as short within reason. Before you do go, Natalie, though, just to give everyone some information or some need to know information on the game tomorrow. So, Natalie, before you head, you've given us your kind of prediction on the team lineup, etc. I'm just going to ask you for your predictions for the game tomorrow. Carabao Cup, live at Old Trafford, 7:45 kickoff, I believe it is. May have got that wrong. But yeah, let us know your predictions, Natalie.
I'm going to go 3-1 Man United. Maybe I'd like to see a Sancho goal for the Reds. I'd like to see his first goal. Yeah, I think West Ham, I think it can maybe go in at a 1-1, but I think, Man United will have too much and we'll get the result.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, Natalie, it's a pleasure to have you on. I know you were on the preview the other night. It's a pleasure to come on. People are saying don't come back. They're saying it because they're jesting, because every time you come on, you say that Manchester United win. But I'm willing to break that voodoo. I'm going to break that spell. Don't you worry about that.
I've never lost since coming on this show.
No,
so
you haven't.
Come on.
Come on. Well, that's why you're so buzzing to come on. But we'll see. We'll see tomorrow. And then we may never see each other again, Natalie, if it comes true again tomorrow. So, listen, pleasure to have you back on. Thank you very much, Natalie. Go and enjoy your night. And we'll speak to you soon. Take it easy.
Bye.
Cheers. Bye. There you go, Matt. There you go. There you go. There you go. Manchester United. Oh, it's just annoying, isn't it? It's just I'm still after Saturday, to be honest. But anyway, what can we say? What can we say? Before we move on, though, have I not downloaded it? Did I download it? Did I download it? Let me see if I downloaded it. Hopefully I did. I did. Before we move on, tonight we received the news that West Ham came to a mutual agreement with none other, Winston Reid, my main man. And he put on his Instagram account one of his first games as a Hammer, which was on his left-hand side picture. Thank you to everyone for the last 11 or so years. I've loved playing in front of the fans and with teammates. It's been a long journey that ends now, but thank you. Best wishes, Reedy. He goes onto the website. I'm going to do a show on Winston Reid tomorrow. He goes on the website and he gives an interview. What do you think, Matt?
I don't know. It is a bit sad. You know, it's 11 years, so it's a long servant, especially in modern football. 11 years at one club is a long time. I mean, yes, the end of his career is probably going to be what ruins it, and I don't know if that will take a lot of the praise out of what he should have had out of his career for some people. Because if you imagine if you've got like the younger generation,
but Matt, I think that's. I genuinely believe there's a minority there. I'll tell you why I say that is I don't believe everything on social media, but what you do see is quite a lot of pundits and a lot of people coming out and going, talking about him. And I will do a particular show on him tomorrow, telling everyone about his history at the club and what he's brought and all that sort of stuff. And it's like a kind of farewell because, yeah, I get he's been injured over the last several years. However, in the last 10 years, he's been questionably one of our best defenders. Consistently performing for 6 or 7 years at the start before his injury came. Yeah. So, I mean, and consistently when I say that was Stonewall building our central defensive pairing at the back through the Championship up into the Premier League to the point where Arsenal came in and put a crazy offer in, but he committed to the club and stayed with the club and we knocked back the offer and just unfortunate with his injuries at the end of the season. But yeah, it's a tough one for me. I'm in a bit of mourning, to be honest.
It's like I said, I was a bit shocked when it came out.
Yeah.
But I said, I'm assuming I've seen on like social media a bit of a backlash at the club saying, "Oh, look, another one that's not getting testimonial. He's not. We haven't had the chance to clap him off and say goodbye and stuff." But when you read interviews and you see interviews of people that have trained and played with him, they all say that he's a very quiet, shy, reserved guy, like off the pitch. He's not one of these. Yeah. He's not one of these like big, flamboyant, fancy, all social media glamour footballers. So it would not surprise me if he just said, "Look, can we just do a little piece and I'll go off into the sunset?" Because 2 days after the Man United game, there's no way they only come to this agreement in the last 48 hours. The talks have been going on for a while because no doubt they probably had to find some sort of settlement payment to see him off. So I'm assuming he would have had the option of the Man United game to come out and say his goodbyes if he wanted to.
Yeah.
Maybe that's not the case. Maybe we'll see him before the European game or the Brentford game.
Yeah.
I just good luck to him wherever he goes. He's been a servant, and he'll know whenever he comes back, he'll get applauded for the year's service he gave us.
Oh yeah, I mean he's going to go down in the. He's got to go down as legend status.
Well, he'll go down in folklore, won't he? He's wrote your name into history anyway. He will always be last goal at Upton Park. He will always be cemented in West Ham history. Like
always be the last goal at Upton Park, scoring that goal against Millwall, scoring a goal against Tottenham. Building nearly one game away from qualifying for the Champions League the last season at Upton Park. I mean, there's a lot there to be remembered. Anyway, it's not about Winston Reid. We'll talk about him tomorrow. But yeah, he's gone. I'm devastated, but I understand it. It makes sense. So that's the way it should be. And fair play to him. He makes some nice comments when he does his interview with West Ham. Anyway, let's talk about our beautiful club, West Ham. Now, the biggest debate probably in relation to this game is going to be over two people, and it's going to be our goalkeepers, Fab and Areola. Fabianski started every single game First team game this season in all competitions. And now we're going into the League Cup. And is this going to be the first opportunity of seeing Areola? Now, before I ask you, Matt, I'm going to ask everyone in the chat to get your comments in and let me know, who would you start for the game tomorrow in goals? Would you start Areola or Fabianski, and who and why? Put that in the comments, please. But before I go to Matt and ask Matt a question, we've got a little cheeky surprise for you. None other than bringing on what's better than maybe talking about a goalkeeper from West Ham is maybe talking to an ex-goalkeeper from West Ham. So let's just check out this video that Russ did for us, talking to the main man, Jimmy Walker.
So, Jim, empty glass, Jimmy Walker. I know. I do apologise, West Ham Network. Right, Areola or Fabianski?
You're going to ask. You want a one-word answer, don't you? But
no, I don't.
I actually. Do you know what? It's one of those. We said it when he signed. Areola's a fantastic goalkeeper, but Fabianski's been sensational for 3 or 4 years for me, and he's still a top goalkeeper. So it's great. The goalkeeping department's really strong at West Ham at the minute. I don't think Fabianski got the nod at the start of the season.
Yeah.
And it's going to be really tough to dislodge him. I thought maybe Areola would get the European games maybe, or the cup games, but we've gone for it in the Europa League, which is great to see, because like we said before, I'd love to have a run at the Europa League. It's one of those, why not have a go? We've got a really strong side. We could go a long way in it, to be honest. So you play your strongest side in that for me as well. But he's going to get some games. There's a lot of cup games. He might nick the odd league game as well. Fabianski can't play 40, 45, 50 games for the season. So you'd like to think he'd get at least 10 or 12 games. Then you can see what he's made of then. And maybe when he gets that chance, he'll stake his claim then.
Yeah. But from a goalkeeper's perspective, can you play Thursday, Sunday?
Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely. And there's no way, if the manager asked the question, he'd give the same answer as I've just given you. Yeah, absolutely he can. Yeah. There's no way. I mean, Fabianski, they'll be working together closely every day. They'll know how good each other are. So whenever the manager asks, how are you feeling? Yeah, I'm great, Gaffer. Yeah. So they don't want to come out. They want to stay in playing.
Top man. All right, man. I'll let you go. Let's go get a beer.
Well, there you go. Spoke to Jimmy Walker, the man himself, ex-West Ham goalkeeper. Do you agree with him, Matt?
I would be worried if Areola didn't play. Like, we've come in and said that, over the season at some point they're going to have to start blooding Areola in, because he's going to be the long-term replacement for Fabianski. And people keep saying, we can't.
Read that one out, Matt.
Set the booby free, unleash the beast. Unleash the breast. I'd be worried if he didn't play, because we've brought him in, and obviously the plan is he's going to be the long-term replacement for Fabianski. It's quite apparent. I don't think Fabianski played particularly well at the weekend anyway, so I don't see what hurt there is in giving Areola a run. Like, I generally don't.
No, the funny thing is, when you say that about Fabianski, I remember watching the game thinking exactly the same. Now, what I find really interesting is you've got this kind of battle of people that constantly say when you're at the game, you get more of a feel for how people are playing. And then when you watch the game on the telly, you get a different vibe. Now, if you're going to look at Fabianski's highlights of the game against Manchester United, he was phenomenal. The saves he made were fantastic. Now, other way to look at it is the things you don't see in the telly, which is how non-commanding he is in the box, which is what I noticed a lot. Massively different when I was at the game on Saturday was he's kind of lost that commanding approach. But then to put it on the flip side, you've got Zuma, who is extremely commanding, who's taken over any form of commanding role. Whatever you think of Ogbonna, great defender, of course he has been over the last couple of years. Zuma has come in there and absolutely defined that centre-back pairing. I mean, there's no chance any other player's going to jump in that position right now over Zuma. But when it comes to Fabianski and Areola, I think it's got to be time that Areola steps in, because, Jimmy Walker says there's no ifs or buts about it. These goalkeepers can play once or twice every week or so. But I think we're going to have to see a different keeper, because I think Moyes will use this game as a game to change up a few things and just see what is kicking about within this squad? Well, I don't know what you think.
If we go historically on Moyes, he always has a different goalkeeper for the domestic cups, or at least the League Cup. Since in both spells, he's always changed the goalkeeper for the League Cup. And look, Fabianski's kicking is getting worse and worse. Like, was it last year or the season before when he pulled his hamstring kicking a ball? And since then, it's like there's a mental block. Like, he will never fully commit to kicking a ball anymore.
Yeah.
So he loses all shape, all accuracy. And like every time we had a goal kick, like it went back to Fabianski, I just sat there and I was like, all right, yeah, we're just going to give it back to Man United, like straight back again. Yes, he made a couple of brilliant world-class saves, undoubtedly, but he still cost us 2 goals. Yeah. I firmly believe if Areola was in goal on Sunday, we'd have won that 1-0.
Yeah.
First goal, Ronaldo has a header that's he's straight at him.
It was actually a kick.
But it was straight at him.
Yeah,
and he caught it. He should have caught it. He spilt it.
Yeah.
And Ronaldo had the tap in. And that wasn't the only shot he spilt in the first half.
Yeah,
like 3 or 4 that were straight at him that he spilt.
Yeah.
And then the second goal, like you said, a commanding goalkeeper. I watch enough Premier League football to see every week players pumping balls into the box and keepers that are running out to almost like the edge of the box to come and collect the ball in the air to relieve pressure for the defence. There was no pressure on that ball. And he left it for Zuma to clear it. Zuma got about 10 yards on it. It literally got controlled past the Lingard and he scored. He doesn't come out for crosses anymore. The Palace game, I said it, they were pumping balls into the 6-yard box and he was leaving it for defenders standing on his line. Like, I honestly think Areola needs a game. And I think as soon as he gets a game, much like Zuma, you'll see the difference and he won't get dropped again. Fabianski is still a quality goalkeeper, but he seems to have lost all his confidence entirely. There's no communication. Like, he's not commanding. He doesn't come out for anything. He leaves it to the defenders to deal with everything. Second half against Man United, I don't know who it was. Someone put a ball along the floor on the edge of the 6-yard box, and there was no one around. And he could have literally just jogged out and fallen down and grabbed it. It wasn't a hard kick. It was quite comfortable to come and claim. Instead, he left it for Soufal to come across the edge, his own 6-yard box, clear it on his left foot, with, I think, like Ronaldo on his back.
Yeah. What do you think? What goalkeeper is going to start? Choose one. What's Moyes going to do? Areola. Right, so we're going with Areola. Areola's going to go on goal for West Ham against Manchester United. Let's get into the defenders then. We've got a choice of the 4 guys at the back. They are these lads here: Zuma, Dawson, Diop, Ogbonna. Don't think we're going to see any youth players step up into that position. What formation do you think he'll go for?
I think he'll stick with formation. He didn't change it on Sunday, so I think he'll stick with the same.
Yeah.
I think for the moment, that is his formation now, and he's just trying to get his 2 players for each position.
Yeah. So we're going to go for Diop and Dawson to step back into that position and play. Or do you see one of the players, someone like Zuma, stepping in and maybe keeping the consistency up with him and Diop?
For my first instinct, would say Diop and Dawson. However, the way Zuma's been playing, wouldn't surprise me if he kept Zuma in, so maybe go Zuma and Diop again.
Yeah.
If he's going to fully rotate, it'd be Diop and Dawson. But people were saying about that French connection, so with Areola coming in, maybe he'll stick to Zuma and Diop again.
Yeah, yeah. Who do you think, if you're watching in the chat, what central defensive pairing do you think we'll see start the game against Manchester United tomorrow at Old Trafford? Now, you know, I think a lot of people will always say that between those 4 players, you're going to see 2 and 2 start, but then you had Zuma play with Diop, have a fantastic performance against Dynamo Zagreb. You saw Zuma start with Ogbonna against Manchester United and had a fantastic performance against Manchester United. Then we've got Manchester United again in the Carabao Cup. And I think a lot of people are thinking we're not going to see a lot of our starting 11. I'm not saying people in this chat in particular. I'm just saying in general from what I've read today. But Moyes is a manager who does like consistency. And sometimes the consistency is that these players can play, 2 games midweek. Now, Zuma could play tomorrow and play against Leeds and still have enough of a time to rest and play against Vienna or be rested against Vienna. Because the thing is, Moyes has stated this, Matt, since he came in. He wants 4 central defenders. Without a doubt, he wants 4 central defenders can step into that team and perform at the highest level. Last season, that was Oggy and Dawson who were doing it. Zuma's definitely adding us something a little bit extra, absolutely no doubts about it. But I wouldn't be surprised if we did see something like Zuma alongside Dawson, Zuma alongside Diop.
I think he will. I think he'll stick with that because then he's kept one consistent centre back in, and he's seen in the European game already that Diop works with him. So, and at 26, I'd be more confident of a 26-year-old playing twice a week, than I would Dawson or Bonner playing twice a week.
Yeah.
So, keep Zuma in, bring one of the others in to freshen it up. So I'd say Zuma and Diop.
Yeah. I think it also stamps a bit of, it's showing people we're taking the competition serious as well. Horace Wasler saying rest our best in the 2-Bob Cup. Garino saying Diop and Dawson. Michelet saying Dawson, Diop. Neil T saying Zuma and Diop. Epic Hashtime saying Dawson and Baptiste. Neil T saying bring Oggy on for Zuma in the second half. And Neil saying Dawson and Diop. Digital Dong saying Diop and Zuma. Evening Girl Zuma and one of the D's. Ibrahim is saying, did you see that interview with the kid in the West Ham fan? No, I didn't. Sorry, Ibrahim. I'd like to see Diop, Zuma, but I think it'll be Dawson and Diop. But you can see there already from our chat that people are all over the place because we don't have any consistency in what people are going to choose at the back. But I personally think it could be Dawson and Diop starting in the centre-back pairing. And so Zuma and Diop, I think I said that. Yeah, absolutely. What about the left back and right back position? Let's go left back first.
Oh, left back.
Yeah. Are we going to see the return of this man?
No.
No.
I'm going to say
Ben Johnson. Are you going to go crazy?
Yeah.
See, now I'm going to give I don't think it will be crazy. I think West Ham struggled down those wings at the weekend, and I actually think they definitely do need a rest. I think they were worked absolutely.
If not Creswell, then Johnson.
Yeah, I personally think it's going to be Johnson. Who would you put left back if you're watching here in the chat? But I think Ben Johnson, and my reasoning behind that is our 2 left back and right backs, our 2 full backs that were really ran ragged at the weekend against Manchester United. That was, in my opinion, that was only really West Ham's major weakness. And Soufal in particular, I mean, they targeted that corner because he was getting no support from what he usually would have in front of him. And they just targeted, and he run ragged, and he was getting ran ragged. And I think he's going to need that break for this game in particular. And this is where I could see Moyes trying out some things within this team. Frederick's there, Ben Johnson there, giving them a bit of game time, seeing what they're capable of doing. Both can get forward, Matt. Both can defend as well. And that's not a negative lineup. That's a positive.
No, we've seen Fredericks in the cup in the European game, and he played very well. So I think that performance from him would have played him back into Moyes' mind of like, yes, look, I've got a reliable second option.
Yeah.
It's just going to be a toss-up on the left-hand side, what he wants to do. Does he think Creswell needs a rest? If he does, is it Johnson or Masuaku?
Yeah.
Does he go for the more probably defensive, reliable, but less attacking option, Johnson? Or does he give Masuaku a run out 8 months after his injury or whatever it is? Like,
the only way I think you would maybe see Masuaku would be as if West Ham played 5 at the back for this game. If we went a little bit more tactical and wants to play 5 at the back and have the kind of 3 centre halves. Don't think that's going to happen, but I think if that was going to happen, then we'd maybe see Masuaku playing a little bit further forward. But for me, I just can't see it because I think Ben Johnson, albeit, he's not naturally a left back, he should be playing on the right-hand side. But I think the pace from Fredericks is what's going to be interesting to Moyes because Moyes is going to want to see that can I give Fredericks this responsibility, and if that does happen, he can keep getting up and down that wing, then Fredericks' pace is going to cause problems in the Europa League and against specific sides in the Premier League, like you said, which we did see last year. I'm going to commit Johnson and Fredericks. What are you going to commit?
Yeah, go on. I'll say Johnson, Fredericks.
Right, cool. Midfield duo in the middle. Are we going to see the big men in the middle rested for today's game? Rice and Souček, tomorrow's game. Sorry.
I don't think either of them will start.
Yeah, I agree with you. 100% agree with you.
I think, by logic, it will be Noble and Krau.
There you go. And do you know what? Maybe this is a game that's good for Noble's, mindset, after missing the penalty, which was disappointing against Manchester United. But we all know, listen, doesn't matter. No one's going to look at him and think, what a div or whatever. But I think it's a good game for him to come back into the side. And it's going to be nice to see what Alex Kral's made of as well. What do you think? Are you quite excited about him?
He's been here I think technically we've had him is it 3-4 weeks now? I haven't actually seen anything of him yet because of the way international break works. But I think at some point Moyes got to give him a go. It's just weird how it worked out. We had Man United twice in a few days.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I mean, people here now talking about bringing Lanzini in as well, which could be an option. Garino saying Krul, Noble with Lanzini further forward. Gary J saying I think Lanzini and Krul. Stephen Irons is saying Noble and Krul. Ali's saying Krul and Souček. Michele saying Noble and Krul. So, there's a lot of difference of opinions there, but I think it would be a perfect game to see a new duo play in that role, especially exciting to know and see what Alex Kral's capable of in a West Ham shirt. I think it'll be the first time we get to see him and give Moyes an option. Give Moyes an option, because if he can turn up on the day and perform really well, Matt, then I'm not saying it's all about one game, but it gives Moyes that option. It gives the fan base, that faith that we've got cover for that midfield area. So, are we going to lock them in? Are we going to hook, line, and sinker them in?
I'll say them too. Yep.
Let's do that. Let's go for we've chosen all 4 defenders, the goalkeeper, the 2 protecting wall, the new wall we're going to build, which is Krul and Mark Noble. We've got someone going out on the left, someone going out on the right. And who are they going to be? Let's go over the left side first.
It depends. If he plays Johnson, I'll go Benrahma.
Right.
But if he does decide to play Masuaku at left back, I'll say Fornals.
Fornals.
Depends on the left back.
It's funny, mate, because I know someone just put it in the comments there, but I think we might see him there.
I didn't want to say it. I didn't want to say. But yeah, he could play there.
I think he might play there, to be honest. I think it's going to give. We know what Moyes does. Moyes, it doesn't matter what position you play in. Moyes can just feature you somewhere in that team, a bit like what he did with Fredericks, like you said, against Aston Villa. And this could be the perfect game to try Masuaku a bit further forward. Again, could be another player that could cause teams concerns in Europe, give us another option, and convince everyone, people who aren't a fan of him don't like his defending ability. People who are a fan of him love his attacking ability. And that's what West Ham need. If we're going to get balls into the box, then that is exactly what we're going to need. So I'm going to lock it in Masuaku. What do you think?
You know what? It's a very Moyes thing to do. So yeah, sure, we'll go for it.
Yeah, excellent. Let's see what everyone else is saying. Dazzy O'Dear saying Masuaku. Steve Irons saying Masuaku. Garino saying Benrahma left. Neil T saying Benrahma. And Neil saying Masuaku. Epic Hashtime's going for it all out there. Okaflex, Lanzini and Bowen. I mean, it would be nice. I'm not going to lie. It would be nice to see a lot of the younger players, but I just don't think we are going to see them.
I think there might be a couple, 2 or 3 on the bench.
On the bench, yeah.
Just so Moyes might be able to try them out in the second half.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to the right-hand side with 3 more players to choose. Fornals. Really?
I think that's all right. Yeah.
Interesting. Why?
Because there's a player I don't want to play up front, so I'm trying to make it work.
Right.
Realistically, though, I can see.
But I'm trying to go by what Moyes will say.
Bowen.
I think it will be Bowen as well. I do think it will be Bowen because I think he's performed really well. He has got the legs, mate. He's got the legs to play this game. No problem at all. He didn't even remotely look knackered.
He would still be my team. He just wouldn't be playing on the right-hand side.
Yeah. Or, when we talk about the right-hand side, we know that Moyes does this kind of chop and change ability, etc. You've got these players, Benramas, the Fornals, the Bowens, the Vlasiches, who can all move around in that midfield area. But I think if we're going for that kind of formation, then I would probably think that Bowen would be in there. So let's lock him in and talk about the two other positions that are left in the team. Are we going to go? I mean, Antonio's back, but I think we're probably going to be in agreement that we probably won't see him play. But there's a weird thing in the back of my brain going.
I reckon there's a sneaky situation he might play him
from the start or come off the bench.
Yeah, I reckon he will.
Yeah, think he will start him.
I reckon that he can play. Look, he said about his diet and it's changed it, and he said he doesn't feel his hamstrings anymore. So I'm quite tempted to say that I reckon, having not played on Sunday, he'll play on Wednesday.
Yeah.
It's not Europe. He hasn't got to travel away like to the other side of Russia and come back for a midday kickoff on a Sunday. Yeah. It's just a couple of hours. Was it like a 45-minute flight to Manchester or something?
Yeah.
Half an hour flight to Manchester. I think I'm tempted to say I think Lanzini will play in the hole. I think he'll start Lanzini at number 10.
In behind Antonio.
And then either in behind Antonio.
Yeah.
Or in behind Bowen with Fornals or Vlasic on the wing.
Yeah.
Before Sunday, I would have said Bowen on the wing and Yarmolenko up front. But I do not think Moyes was impressed with him at all when he came on Sunday. The cameras quite openly caught Moyes giving Yarmolenko an absolute rollicking because he just wasn't running. And Moyes was like, you've been on the pitch 5 minutes. Why are you not closing down defenders? You need to run more. You need to track back. I need to see more. So on that basis, it leaves be Antonio or Bowen up front. It wouldn't surprise me if he plays Antonio.
What about this? Still thinks Areola will start and goal and up top with Bowen. So what do you think about that, Matt? Anyway, listen. So Lanzini in the hole, Antonio up top. Big statement from David Moyes if he does do that. What do you guys think in the chat?
Isn't it? Yeah. It's still a change from the team that plays Sunday. So
yeah.
Well, like I said, look, we got to come to this mindset now that it's not dropping players; it's resting and rotating to keep the squad fresh.
Yeah.
So having not anyone that didn't play Sunday, you would sort of, especially when it's the League Cup, probably the least priority of the four tournaments we're in.
Yeah.
You've got to think anyone that didn't play serious minutes at the weekend has got to be a shoo-in to start tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. But I did say from the start, I do think that Moyes will take this semi-serious. I think he would take it dramatically serious. I think we've got 18, 19 players there in that squad. But I think there's going to be an element of mix and matching with the current crop that goes out in the Premier League, the current crop that goes out in the Europa League, and the current crop that goes out in the League Cup. Matt saying there, Antonio potentially may start the game tomorrow. I think Masuaku will play left midfield, and I think it'll be good to see him going that kind of attacking ability, see what he's capable of doing. I think we'll see a new partnership form here with Alex Kroll and Mark Noble in the middle of the park. What was your thoughts on Vlasic against Manchester United? I mean, Bowen, you could questionably say that Bowen, Vlasic or Yarmolenko could potentially start, but after Yarmolenko's performance against Manchester United, you can't help but think that Moyes
I think he's out the door, mate.
Is pretty pissed off with him.
I think that performance... Look, we saw with Haller that Moyes didn't give him a long time to show that he was interested in playing for this team and the way we play.
Yeah.
And he was out the door pretty quick. That performance... It's funny, because I gave him a 6 rating on the rating show Yarmolenko, and I said, you know what? For a Yarmolenko performance, it was probably one of his better ones, but it was still abysmal.
Yeah.
I partly blame Moyes for it because, I don't know how Moyes doesn't know the fact that Yarmolenko is not going to run. I could tell you that before he come on the pitch. Like, if you want someone to run and close down defenders, he's not going to do it. I don't think he'll do it. Vlasic might play up front as number 9. I was actually really impressed with him on Sunday. I know some people weren't, but I thought his ability to drop into holes in the middle of the pitch, pick up the ball, turn and face players, little interchange of passes, taking on people. I thought you could already see why Moyes has brought him in. Yes, his fitness isn't up to scratch yet, but he's essentially restarting pre-season again because the work rate Moyes wants from his players. But give it 5 or 6 weeks, I think Vlasic will be right up there and we'll start seeing the best out of him.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, the thing is, we've got options now. This is the thing, and it's now going to be a decision that Moyes is going to make, and what's he going to want to do. I said right from the start, mate, he's going to use this game as an option to see what he's got available. But by doing that, is going to take the competition really seriously. So it will be an interesting one. Listen, everyone, I apologise for Stella in the chat. He's the only West Ham fan that I know that can slag off one of the legends of the club. It's disappointing to see. But what else do we expect from Stella? What else do we expect from him?
You know what? In all honesty, right? I said this to Jake on the rating show. If he wants to play that way again, and he thinks I need to bring on a new centre forward for the last 15 minutes to shuttle run the defenders, I was like, bring on Diop. Diop will do a better job up front than Yarmolenko. Like, I don't want to see him playing up front again.
Yeah.
Unless he's playing in a 2 with Antonio.
Yeah.
So Antonio's going to do all the running, and Yarmolenko would just stand in the middle.
Yeah.
Like,
absolutely. Listen, we did try and keep this show as short as we possibly can. So get your predictions in the comments right now. What do you think the score will be in the Carabao Cup tomorrow? And if you are watching, tomorrow we will be live on the channel for the live match day live. I'm just going to quickly double check the time of the kickoff just to make sure I've got it right.
Isn't it?
Yeah, I just want to make sure I definitely have got it right. 7:45, so we'll go live. We'll probably go live a little bit later, but just keep an eye on the channel tomorrow around 7 o'clock. We'll bring you some team news. We'll do a live match day live. We'll have a laugh, and it will be good to watch the game. And fingers crossed West Ham can go and get a result there tomorrow. Of course, tomorrow as well will be Russ's lunchtime show. I'll do a daily show, so keep an eye on the channel. Matt, what is your predictions for tomorrow's game?
I'm going to go 1-1 and then penalties.
Right, okay. Just what we need, mate. Just what we need.
Well, at least these days you don't play extra time. So
I was just going to say, so for anyone that doesn't understand, in the Carabao Cup at this stage in the round, if you draw the game, you just go straight into penalties rather than extra time as well. So there's not going to be that extra time game, etc., all that sort of stuff. Anyway, let's go and see what. So you said 1-1 and West Ham on penalties.
Well, just penalties.
Excellent. Okay. Right. George Carley, Yarmolenko, one of the worst players I've seen. Would rather have Mayiga, Zaza, and Kaleri. Adam Cook is saying Vlasic needs time and Yarmouth just needs to get off. Steve Fleming is saying, think we'll nick it tomorrow. Any check WhatsApp as soon as you've finished here. Any?
That's be Ant, I think.
Oh, me? All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. Neil T, I could do a better job than Yarmolenko, and I'm 55. Duzzy O'Dear saying 2-0 Manure. Come on, mate. George Curley 2-1. Steve Irons 3-1 Manure. Oh, come on. Mishley, just honestly, you now all realise what we have to deal with. Max Adams, how on earth has Yarmolenko made it this far in football? He made it this far in football because he actually did have a good career before he came to West Ham. And I don't want
to, that bad injury, didn't he?
He had a bad injury at West Ham, which didn't help.
Like a lot of players that come to West Ham have a bad injury, and it just like ruins their career.
Absolutely. George is saying 2-1 West Ham. Neil saying penalty shootout. Adam Cook saying 2-1. Dad said great show, Matt and Anton. Good night all. Thanks, Dad. Kaiser Machine 2 each. We win on penalties. Epic Hashtime is saying funny how Vlasic said in an interview that he hated playing in the wing at Everton, and he's a number 10, and then Moyes plays him as a winger. Rhonda and Tony Tante, sadly I feel we'll lose 4-0. Moyes won't risk main 11. Gary J, thank you for joining us, mate. Crazy call, 1-0 West Ham. Dan saying 2-1 West Ham. James Bong saying 1-0 West Ham. Injury time penalty from Nobes. Let's smash Manure tomorrow. Absolutely. Michelle saying 1-0 Man United. Garino Noble to win it on penalties as he lights a rocket that knocks the hair spark out and the ball bounces up onto the bottom of the bar and bounces just in. Attention to detail there. Hornswoggle Moyes can't beat beat these at present, so reckon on another loss 2-0 to them. Hammerwell, if it goes to penalties, will that mean Noble will take off 5? Zoe Z is saying Man United will win. Gary saying 3-0 West Ham. Max saying 2-0 West Ham. Max Adams saying Diop and Vlasic. Anil winning penalties. Neil T saying we'll lose on penalties. Ariola, Diop and Zuma from Serif Happy Hammer. Stell gone quiet. 1-0 injury time penalty by quarterback. Special play Noble. Kaiser Machine smashing 4-0. Jonathan Spector makes his return to the West Ham starting lineup and bags a brace against Man United on a lovely wintry January day or whatever that was. Serif saying 2-1 West Ham. Listen, thank you so much for joining us. Please go check out all the videos we put on yesterday. There was a West Ham Weekly. There was a player rating show as well. Go and hit the like button. Please, if you're watching right now, hit that like button. We're on the road to 10,000 subscribers. I really want us to hit that before the end of the year. So if you are watching, you're new around here, please hit that subscribe button. It's easy as, honestly, just click it. I'm just trying to find something actually, because we normally got a little cheeky, where is it? Where's it gone, Matt? Come on, help me find it. There it is there. Look, check that out. Hit the subscribe button and go and help out the channel as much as you can. So we've done the predictions. Matt, who's the man you fear the most for Manchester United in the Carabao Cup?
I'm going to say Sancho.
Okay.
Because he is a very talented player and he's yet to hit the ground running for Man United.
Yeah.
And, you know, we always say you need a goal. If you're out of form, you need a goal or assist, enter West Ham. The guy's not got a goal or assist in Premier since he come back to the Premier League yet. So, yeah, it's one of them.
Who should they fear the most? Consider we don't know who'll start.
Yeah, exactly. If it starts
Antonio. Yeah. I think the player I fear the most for Manchester United is Lingard, unfortunately. And the player they should fear the most, if he does start, is Antonio. And if he does start, Zuma, set piece, and we'll see. So make sure you join us tomorrow. Thank you for watching and get behind West Ham, and fingers crossed we can get through to the next round, and hopefully we've convinced Matt that we want to take the Carabao Cup a little bit more serious. Thanks for watching. Come on, you Irons.